Okay, here we go. Thank you, everyone. I'm really excited to be doing this call tonight. So I'm Tracy Black, and Allison Van Horn is going to be joining me tonight, and we're going to share some tips, tricks, and the secret to hitting your goals and doing some vision planning for 2023. So let's get started. Now, for many of you, right, like you've probably done a vision board before, you've thought about your vision, but when was the last time you had a vision for your business? I really want you to kind of think about this. Your vision is your roadmap to your entire business, right? Without a vision, you may find yourself going off course or maybe going nowhere, right? So I want you to kind of think about, like, where do you want to go this year? Where do you see your business going? And think about, how are you going to celebrate when you hit those goals? There was this exercise that I did very early on when I started the business, and it was called the 20 Things exercise. So if you haven't done it yet, let's just do it real quick. Grab a piece of paper, or maybe you've got your notepad app on your phone. But I want you to write down, okay, what are the things you're going to do? The 20 things you're going to do, buy, or get when you hit $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Now, I'll tell you, when I did this exercise, I was a star, maybe a senior star. Like, the idea of getting a $5,000 paycheck, let alone a $10,000 paycheck, it just seemed like, wow, that is like pie in the sky. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. But I just want you to know that it is possible. I'm definitely living proof of that. And, leaders on this call have done the same thing too. So, just do like that quick, what are some things you're going to do? Even if you're just kind of writing down right now, I'll do this exercise later, but think about what you're going to do. I'll tell you some of the things for me. I was like, hire a babysitter so I can go on a date night with my husband. Buy organic groceries, right? I mean, even back then, right, when I started the business 8 years ago, the idea of being able to buy all organic, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. And I think that's still relevant today with rising food prices, right? I remember the other thing was, I would just love to have a house cleaner come in once or twice a month just to help me, because it's just been so hard to keep up the house. Saving up for a family vacation, all those tangible things, right? That needs to go on your vision board. And I'll share a resource with you a little bit later. But I think it's really important to visualize and write down those things, because that is what's going to keep you going, right? And help you to break down those goals and to make those goals more tangible, because you'll be thinking of your vision in the long run, right? Things that you want to do. So your goals are the point-to-point directions. Your vision is the roadmap, but the goals is like your Google map, right? Telling you how to get there. I like to put my vision board like on my mirror or on my phone. And again, I'll share something with you a little bit later. But the goals that we're going to be creating and talking about, this really goes back to, what is your overall vision, okay? So here is a crazy statistic. I was like, there is no way this is true, is it? But 92% of people never achieve their goals. Why? Why is that? And it's really coming down to one simple thing: is most people, this 92%, they just don't set goals, right? They think it would be so great, right, to lose 20 pounds, after Christmas break. Or it would be great if I could run a marathon. It would be awesome if I could hit diamond in Young Living. But if there's no goals in place, right? The goals are what help you to make that vision a reality. So the reason why most people don't achieve their goals is because they don't set them. So how do you do this? How do you achieve your goals? So just by writing down your goals, you're 42% more likely to achieve them. But when you get specific about your goals, right, you're not only writing it down, but you're getting really specific about what you want to do and what you want to achieve, that increases your chance of achieving your goal to 90%. And really, it's just about breaking down the big goals into bite-sized chunks and then making it, that just sort of makes it easier for you to do it. So what are some ways that you can achieve those goals? Like, how do you break up those goals into bite-sized chunks? It's all about habits. This is really the secret right here, is consistent habits. And really the two are together, right? Because you can't have a habit if you're not doing it consistently. So consistent habits really is the true secret to making that vision into reality, to hitting all of the goals that you write down. And there's just a few simple steps to this that I'll explain. So first of all, what I am a huge fan of, right? You create your vision, you know why you want to do something. And here's something that I want to say about your vision is whatever you think you want to do, I want you to be thinking bigger, right? You might be thinking, you know, I want to, you know, help people live a more natural lifestyle. Think bigger than that. What if it was, I want to help everybody in my life ditch all the toxic junk and switch over to Young Living, right? Just think about that. Most of us know 100 people, maybe 300 people. I know we think we don't, but we really do, right? High school friends, neighbors, coworkers, friends of our kids, right? Like our just kind of network of people. Think about that. What if you could help 100 families ditch the toxic chemicals and start using Young Living, right? What if you helped even more people, like friends of their friends, learn about the business and the opportunity, right? Helping people to make extra cash, especially in this environment right now, right? With a looming recession. I mean, who do you know does not need extra cash in their pocket right now? It's everybody. So that's why I say, you know, you might have this vision, and I just want you to be thinking bigger because you can do it. Don't be afraid to write it down and go bigger, okay? But when we start breaking down these goals to reach that vision, I'm a huge fan of thinking of the end goal. So begin with the end in mind, right? Like know where you want to go, right? You've got this vision, know that you want to get there, and then kind of like reverse engineer it to be able to hit it. So for instance, do you want to enroll a specific number of people a month? Do you want to hit a specific rank? Do you want to win a specific prize, like a trip to Kona, right? For this Kona challenge? Do you want to earn a specific amount on your paycheck? I will tell you, when I first got started, it really seemed very pie in the sky to even fathom thinking I could make a diamond paycheck. And my enroller at the time was like, it's very much possible. Let me show you, right? And she showed me her paycheck and I was like, okay, writing this down right now. I want this paycheck. This would be life-changing, like legacy-changing for not just me, but my entire family for generations to come. Like, yes, I want that. So, you know, be thinking about what is the end, right? Begin with the end in mind. The other thing I want to say is, you know, you need to be able to share that vision and goal. In the beginning, you might feel embarrassed or shy to share with other people. But if you yourself cannot share it with your closest friends and family, how are you going to convince yourself that you can make it happen? So there's something about publicly acknowledging your goals that makes you more likely to hit the goal, right? Because you're putting it out there, you're telling people about it. And because other people know, right? It's sort of like that accountability is there where you're more likely going to hit that goal. So not only that, but let me just tell you, it really is a great skill that we can develop. Not all of us have it in the beginning. I certainly didn't. I was like, oh, I don't know. This is a big, hairy goal. I'm not sure if I want to share it. But when you share your goal, you're role modeling for people on your team that they can do it too. So you can absolutely develop that skill. It's really important. And like I said earlier, you know, work backwards, you know, break down that goal into little bite-sized chunks. Something that's always really worked well for me, like if I wanted, for instance, wanted to hit a specific rank, when I was going for platinum, right? I would kind of reverse engineer and go, okay, I need, let's say, 5,000 in OGV, Okay, so 5,000 in OGV, that's the next big mark that I need to hit in order to hit the next rank. So I need to break that down. 5,000, divided by 100, right? Because we're thinking 100 PV starter kits or 100 PV on loyalty rewards, that's 50. Okay, so over the next, 6 months, 4 months, whatever that time frame is, I need to get 50 going to hit that goal. But here's the thing, what's so great about this business, right, is it's not just you. You don't have to personally enroll 50 people. You don't have to personally get 50 people on loyalty rewards. It's you and your team, right? So this is sort of that power of two that we've talked about, or helping two, right? You help two and they help two and they help two, right? Like really working on that can help you to hit your goal, but also to help people on your team hit their goals too. Allison, I think you wanted to add a couple of things on this one, right?
It's apparently my first day and I forgot how to mute myself when there's a slideshow. So I apologize. Number one, I want to let you know my appearance. We literally just got power back after like almost 24 hours off. So I look like this because it's been freezing in my house, and I mean, we've just been gross. So thank the Lord that we got our power back on. So yay. And I was coming onto this via my phone anyways, because this is such like a fun topic that I love talking about. So Tracy just basically took the words out of my mouth. It is all about, number one, like saying yes. One of the things I heard in a workshop was say yes, tell the world, and then figure it out. So the number one goal of you is to decide that you are into the business and you are going to do it. Whether that is a hobby, whether that is just sharing with your friends, whether that is going in all in. It doesn't matter what it looks like for you. It just matters that you decided. And then the rest of it will come into play. Yes, it helps by doing kind of these things that we're talking about for sure. I will say that when I was going for silver and when I was specifically going for gold, each month I would literally write down my the OGV that I was going for, and then I would break it down. If y'all don't know, I am not a spreadsheet sort of person. I don't like numbers. I don't love that. But I did it because Tracy said that it would be a good thing to do. And so she's amazing, right? So I do and try it out, right? But I will tell you, the months that I did that and the months that I didn't were very forthcoming in how well that does. It's a connection with paper, pen, and your brain. When I was studying for physical therapy for my doctorate and passing my test and everything, I would literally write down every note. Like tedious, I would like read the book, write it down, because there's a legit brain component from your brain to paper to pen. And the same thing goes for your goals. You write it down, you get it ingrained in your head. If you post it up, like what she was saying, on a mirror, it's there for you to see it every morning. And the more that you see it, the more that you write it, the more that you will actually believe that you can do it. So I would write it down. I would do exactly what she said. I would say, all right, this month I'm going to go for gold is 10,000 OGV. I was right. No, 35,000. Geez. Oh my goodness. So sorry. 35,000 OGV. All right. So this month I'm going to go for 20,000. This is how I'm going to do it. Leg 1 is going to get this. Leg 2 is going to get this. Leg 3 is going to get this. And then my other stuff is going to do that. And then I would work in those little goals to kind of figure out where I needed to talk. If I had leaders that were also doing things, I would chat with them. And I would also, this is huge too, and it really might be out of your comfort zone, but share your goals with your team, especially if you have leaders and brand partners. They want to know it. They want to hear that you are going for something scary or you are ready to take it to the next level. They want to hear so they can be okay with when they want to do it. And honestly, they're super willing to help out more than you ever thought they would when you put it out there into the universe and on your team. So that's another good thing to do. So anyways, that's the goal. And then share your vision and goal. And then she was talking about work backwards to achieve your goal. That's the same thing. She was saying, it's more math than you might want. Again, I don't love that kind of stuff, but it is actually helpful. I said it. But it's kind of seeing like you want to have this many enrollments or you want to talk to this many people, but make that your goal. And what is the best that can happen? You reach your goal. If you don't, is the month ending? Is the world over? I would reckon that it's not. So it's not a big deal that if it got written down and it didn't get achieved, it just means that it will get written down again and it will be achieved at some point. And that's what is like the main thing I think we need to remember in this, because I feel like when I had a quote that I love, but basically perfectionism will kill your business. So you have to like let it go, like Elsa, like let it go, like put it out on paper. But also if things happen, it's not a big deal. Just move on from it and make sure that that is still your end goal that next month. And I promise you, you will see it pay off and it will be so much greater and worthwhile for that. There's something else I wanted to share, but I think it's coming later in the slide. So I'm going to pause in my story and I'll bring it back to Tracy. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Allison. Stop me if I move ahead, okay? Okay, so one of the things, so we just talked about, you know, how to get these goals done, start with the end in mind, also clearing obstacles, right? And this almost seems like so simple, but sometimes it can be harder than we imagine, right? So for instance, if time is an issue, block out time on your calendar to do it. Or maybe it's doing a babysitting swap, or, you know, hiring a babysitter, right? If you're home with the kiddos, if you still have a full-time job, maybe that's just carving out like an hour or two, right? Maybe once the kids are in bed, or maybe on a Saturday morning, waking up a bit earlier before everybody else is up, right? If it's, you know, finding a place to hold classes, think about asking family and friends, right? Like, hey, I would love to host a class. You've got a beautiful home. Would you mind doing this for me? You'd be really surprised. More often than not, people are happy to do it because they care about you. Or for instance, you could always do it at a library, a coffee shop. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody here, we've done it in all the places. I've done it at a park, at the beach, right? So many different places. But think about, write down what the obstacles are that are keeping you from reaching those goals, and come up with solutions to then help you with that.
Can I just say one thing in there?
Yes, please.
All right. So again, I like to kind of put it all out there. So with that, clearing the obstacles, I'll be the first one to say that life can get in the way of everything, but just kind of like getting pockets of your day. I built this business mostly when I had 3 toddlers under 4. And I would literally, guys, this is probably weird to say out loud, but I would carve out my time, and my time to myself was literally on the toilet. So like, do your texting and your connecting wherever you can, whether that be on the John, so be it, nobody knew, or whatever the case may be, just carve it out. And so even to now, I have older kids, it's still just as crazy. It never gets easier. And I literally have to carve out pockets, and I could absolutely get better at that. But that's kind of like the key to success. And I will say, sometimes with my own personality, I can only speak to myself, is that sometimes I'm like, no, I can totally do this. I am not the problem. But I am the problem sometimes, because you can stand in your own way, right? So the best thing to do is kind of put that ego to side. I mean, it hurts, I know, but put it aside and just kind of like carve out time, whether that gets up like 10 minutes early, whether that stays up 10 minutes later, whether that is like literally your lunch hour. I was a full-time physical therapist as well, and I would do it on my lunch hour or like in the stairs. Like, I was real creative with my time, and still am, to be honest. And so just find those pockets. You do not need to like sit and find 2 hours a day. And I think sometimes that's what we think we need for this business, but you don't. You need 10 minutes here. You need 10 minutes there. You need 5 minutes there. You need a quick conversation. It's all about relationships, conversations, and setting those goals that you can attain, and that they make you happy, because ultimately when you are happy and reaching your goals, your business will also bloom. All right. Anyways. Go for it, Tracy.
Yeah, that's so good. And you know what? I just want to say, I posted this in the comment in the chat as well. But when I was going for platinum, I was homeschooling my older boys. I think second and fourth grade. And then my youngest was a toddler, not even preschool really at the time. And I was doing this business full time. And what I did was I hired a babysitter to come in. And, that was 2 days a week. I would go to the coffee shop and I had like maybe 3 hours. But let me tell you, I don't know if I've ever been so productive ever in my business than I was in those 3 hours, because I was like, I'm paying this babysitter. I'm going to get work done. I'm not going on Amazon. I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to do other things. Like, I am 110% going to be working on this business. And for me, hiring the babysitter, like paying money out of my pocket for her time so I could do my business, that really held me accountable. I was like, no, we're not deviating. This is the only thing we're going to be doing. So, that might look different for you. Maybe it's asking, mom and dad to come over, grandparents, right? Maybe it's doing a babysitting swap. I've done that too with neighbors. There's so many ways that you can make this happen, but it's just, identifying those obstacles and clearing it. And it also goes in line with this slide here, which is priming your environment, right? So that could be, the place where you do the work, whether that's like you have a home office, or maybe you have a coffee shop like I did. Maybe it's the kitchen counter, but you've got like a space, right, to be working on your goals and to be planning things out. Also thinking about your time, like we said earlier, right? Like what time are you going to commit to be working on this? And I totally agree with Allison, right? Like, depending on where you are with, family and work and other priorities, sometimes it's going to have to fit into like 15-minute chunks here and there. But I also want to put out there to you, right? Like, if you want this business, you need to treat it like a business, right? So, right, maybe it's, I'm going to get 2 hours done a day. It might be 15 minutes here and there, but I'm going to get those 2 hours done. And we'll talk about a little bit about rewards in a little bit, but, in particular, when I was going for big goals, I wasn't watching Netflix, right? I gave that up, right? I wasn't doing certain things that might, going to the mall and going shopping, right? I was like, I am in this to hit these goals. So I'm going to cut the things out for the short term so that I can be very focused, right? No interruptions, no distractions. I am someone, tell me, am I the only one on my computer? I typically have probably 30 browser tabs open. It drives my husband crazy. And I'm like, no, but I'm working on all 30 of those at the same time, because that's just how my brain works. But I'd be like painfully closing browsers. I'm like, no, you don't need to be working on this right now. No interruptions, no distractions. Turn off those notifications on Facebook or on your phone. Like, nobody is getting through. I am going to be 100% focused on this. So just be thinking about how to prime your environment to make it conducive for you to hit those goals. Okay. This one's really important to me. It's discipline. So look, right? We talk about motivation, but motivation can fade. It's the discipline that remains, right? It's really a skill. I think so many of us think, well, that person's always just so motivated. And I can tell you right now, that person's probably worked really hard on disciplining themselves to stay motivated. So you can really develop discipline over time, right? And what I'm talking about here is that consistency, right? In being committed and sticking with the habits, right? We often call them income producing activities, right? Like your follow-up, you're inviting, you're teaching, you're talking about the business by, really getting consistent about those habits. You can train your brain to take action. And Allison said this before, and I just want to reiterate, right? As a recovering perfectionist myself, done is better than perfect, right? I think for those of us who are overly analytical, we might go, well, it needs to be perfect. I need to have the perfect house. I need to have the perfect setup. I need to have the perfect office space, right? And we get into this minutia that has nothing to do with the end result, right? So we have to, accept and move beyond wanting it to be perfect and understanding that done is better than perfect. And we can work on that discipline of getting things done, right? Simply by doing them consistently, right? Again, develop that discipline to do it over and over and over and over. Accountability. Okay, so this is me, because this is, type 3 here, or type personality. What is it? Enneagram 3.
Girl, I'm a 7, so I want all the accountability.
But accountability is really huge. If you haven't done it yet, we would highly recommend you find a partner or an accountability pod. We'll talk a little bit more about it later, but we're facilitating these accountability pods for the Kona Challenge. But what is it about accountability, right? Or these pods? It really gives you that opportunity to be very consistent and talking, right? Talking about the things that you did this week, the things that are kind of coming up on the horizon, maybe sharing some wins, talking about obstacles and asking others for solutions, talking about your stats and your progress. Accountability is really huge. And, I know everybody's sort of on a different, playing ground when it comes to this, right? If you're sort of not in the space yet to join an accountability pod, you can do this, right, on your own. Just be sure you're like doing this check-in, right? Doing this weekly check-in with yourself. Like, did you hit all the things on your goal list? Are there things that you could improve? Are there things that you could be doing? I will tell you, I consistently sort of have this inner self dialogue. I'm like, is this moving the needle? No, it's not. This is my new shot. I need to move on, right? I sort of have this constant talk in my head every day. Like, am I working on my new shot, or is this really something that needs to be done? Is this helping me? These are the things, these are sort of the criteria for me. Am I enrolling someone, getting someone on loyalty rewards, or helping someone to become a brand partner, right? If I'm not actively doing one of those things right now, right, then I'm like, okay, it can wait for later. I need to focus on these 3 things first in my, 15 minutes, 1 hour, whatever time chunk I've sort of, given myself. These are the things that I need to work on right now. So I want to enroll. I'm going to go book that class. I'm going to start inviting people and get this class on the schedule. Okay, start small. So let me just ask a question, right? So actually, Allison, I feel like, is probably much better at answering this, because, let's say you set a goal to run a marathon. Do you just run the marathon? You're like, all right, I'm going to do 6 miles.
Get out there and do it. You're
it's
right.
happening.
No.
You start small, right?
Yeah. Couple, but do you want me to keep going? Or
yeah,
do you just, okay.
But
yeah. So I'm sure Ashley could say this as well, but so with any crazy goal, you want to start small, right? You want to, walk a mile. You want to go from there. It may take a really long time to get there, but if you always have that goal in your head, you'll get there. And don't compare to other people. You'll get there. But starting small is the way to go for anybody. I think a lot of it comes down to kind of how your brain works. I tend to get a little overwhelmed if I go too big. And so I love making it smaller. So whether that looked like, my small would be at this point in time, making sure that I had a class or I was talking to, I like to set a goal of talking to at least 3 people a month. And that might seem small, but that is just what my life can do right now. And if that looks like 1 person, that is still a great goal and achievable and should be celebrated. So start small. So write it down, talk to this many people. Have 1 class, invite people, post a couple times a week. I am currently trying to post something oily related pretty much every other day to every day, even if it's something silly. I used to be a lot better about it, but life happens. I'm very truthful in my business. And so I have an ups and downs and in betweens. And one of the things that I always talk about is just going back to the basics. And the basics is literally this slide. Start small, write it down, 1 goal, do it. That's it, guys. So invite to a class, teach it, whether that looks like pairing up with somebody in your upline or in your team or someone that you would want to teach with. That's perfect. Whether that looks like literally just writing a post about an oil and posting it to social media, that's actually teaching too. You don't have to do in person. You don't have to do social media. can literally do what's comfortable for you, but just make sure that you share about a product and ideally kind of put it back to what it's done for you. It's all about the connection to life. People want, and this is probably a side tangent, but people want a connection to a story. They want to hear that you went through something similar and then they are wanting that same thing, or they want to hear, like I have somebody currently I'm talking to that has a lot of joint pain and arthritis and all the things. And that's what she's finally reaching out for me. We've talked a boatload of things, but that's not necessarily why I like oils, but it is true to my profession and I am giving her the things and she is like ready. So just know that you just want to connect. You want to teach on a product to a problem and then center it around them. And that's really how you kind of start small and get that bigger goal. And then follow up. I'm not going to lie. It's very important to not falter. So that's, again, put that ego aside. If they aren't saying absolutely no, stop talking to me, please walk away, please be done, which I've actually heard, and I'm still alive, guys. So it's not a big deal. Then keep going, because I have spoken to this girl that I'm about to enroll. See what I did there? About to enroll. It's all about language too, guys. For years, I kid you not, years. I let it go and she stays connected through social media, and then we'll talk about something, but now it's her time and I'm going to make it happen. But just follow up, give grace, be there for that person, because I promise you, if you're consistent about this business and you truly want it, 7 years from now, you will enroll everybody you talk to today. Yep, I'm that confident because I've been doing this for 7.5 years, and my enrollments in the last year are all people that I've been talking to this entire time. So just don't stop following up. But I will tell you that it's very hard, especially if you like energy like I do, and you don't like to be told no, all those things, but just keep doing. And then just always going back to the small thing, because small goals are achievable. And then when you achieve them, you feel good, and then you want to go to the next step. So I love that. I'm sure Tracy has so much more to add about that though.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Allison. I feel like, I've heard no many times, but here's the thing. A no is usually not like a no forever. Don't ever talk to me again. It's a no, not right now. And I think that sometimes we forget that we're in a different place, right, with our journey and our business than maybe someone else, right? Like maybe someone else isn't ready to get on the low tox train right now. They can't even take in the information you're giving them. They're just not ready, but they might be ready in 6 months or a year, right? I've had people sign up with me years later and they follow. So being consistent in your journey and what you're doing, people do follow. They may not always talk to you about it or comment or but they're watching. And so just being consistent in doing that is huge. I couldn't agree more. So this is something that is very near and dear to my heart, because again, I am that spreadsheet person. If you're not, it's okay. But I love this stuff. I just love being able to track my progress. I think because I'm so visual, I like to see where I started, milestones, and then how I got there. I just find it so fascinating. And so, I would highly recommend using a stats tracker. I'm going to share one at the end of this slide deck, so that you can use it. I actually posted it in the group again today. But, this kind of goes back to treating your business like a business, right? I want you to think about, every big box company, any company, if you ask them, right, how's your bottom line? How are you, if you just ask them anything about their business, they are going to tell you exactly what you want to know, right? How many customers they have, what their volume is like, how, percentage of new people coming in, their top selling products, right? Because that's their business, right? So this is going back to treating your business like a business. So some important stats for you to be tracking are your personally enrolled, right? Your team OGV, the number of new enrollers and new members on your team. We've talked about this. We've actually done other videos with a deep dive into why you want to be tracking all of this. Hint, hint, it all goes back to the 3 things that we talked about earlier, right? Enrolling, getting people on loyalty rewards, and enrolling new brand partners. So it all kind of goes back to that, but it gives you that visual aid to see okay, where are things kind of going? And guess what? Depending on where you see your stats, maybe your loyalty rewards is like your percentages through the roof. We've had people on our team have like 60, 70, 80% of their team on loyalty rewards, but the number of new people coming in was lower. So you know what that gives you? Insight. That gives you insight that you're killing it on loyalty rewards, but need to be working on talking about, talking to your team and you yourself, role modeling the enrollments, like getting out there and teaching classes and prospecting. So your stats really help you to give you insight and help you to make decisions, right? To like tweak goals, as you're kind of in the middle of the process. The other thing that I think is really important is sharing your results publicly, right? If you went for a big goal, like a rank, or you had a personal goal to like enroll 10 people this month, right? When you talk about those goals and share your progress, not only your team is going to rally behind you, but you've got friends and family who are watching you. Like I said earlier, they may not even comment or talk to you about it, but they're watching in the background and they're going, oh my gosh, is she really doing this? It's happening. Wow, what an inspiration. I think I might want to do this too. So, publicly sharing can be huge. This is also great for, enticing new brand partners. Maybe you have customers on your team and you're just talking about like, look, I went out and I told my customers they could, earn 50% on Fast Start with their first orders. And I had a whole bunch of people come in. We had Amber Hansen from our team just talk about this, right? You could inspire people who go, oh my gosh, I haven't done that yet. I need to do that too. So there's so many ways you can do that. The other thing I like to do with tracking stats in my progress are thinking about action goals versus results goals, okay? Both are important and they work together, but sometimes we might get too attached to one or the other and don't consider it. So for instance, if we're focused on a results goal, like I, want to hit the rank of silver this month. I want to, win the Kona challenge. And then sometimes, right, like maybe we're going to get there, but maybe we just a little bit missed the mark, right, for this month. Then we go, oh, I'm so deflated. I can't believe this. But when we focus on the result, on the action, right, like I reached out to 20 people this month. I talked to 10 customers about loyalty rewards. I talked to 5 customers about, upgrading their account to brand partner. Sometimes those action goals, right, where we have control over the action versus sometimes with the results, we can do all the action, but the results may not come this month. Maybe it'll come in a couple of months or half a year from now, right? It's coming, but maybe not on the timeline that we originally had hoped. That's why I feel like action goals can be great because we can control that, right? We can take those actions that eventually lead into those results goals. So see how they work really well together. Reward yourself. Allison, want to take this one on?
Absolutely. I love talking about rewards. I am all the celebration queen. My kids will tell you that I celebrate everything. But you should absolutely celebrate your goals. I personally celebrated them mostly when I hit rank, but I would make something like crazy. I bought myself an Aria when I hit gold, and I gifted it to myself, and that was my present. But you should absolutely reward yourself. Because even if that's maybe not your love language, it just puts like something exciting attached to it and it keeps that energy going. Good energy creates good energy, whether that be like with around people, whether that be in your own self, whether that be your momentum, but energy continues to create energy. So go ahead and make that a lofty goal with a big reward. And then also maybe create some smaller ones along the way. If you are shy and don't like to speak to people, maybe when you speak to 10, 20 people, you do this. And what that looks like is totally up to you. And I mean, I can't tell you what to reward yourself with, but I will say that I really wanted that giant diffuser. And I was like, I'm only going to buy it for myself when I hit this rank. And I did, and I love it. And so I still kind of do that to this day. In fact, I should probably think of something that I should gift myself. now that I'm reminding myself in this conversation. But anyways, yeah. So she said, like, when you enroll 2 people, you should treat yourself to a cup of coffee. Absolutely. I mean, I would feel like I would be like, enroll 3 people, you get a pair of shoes, because I love shoes. And so, I mean, I wear the same shoes every day, but I love having a closet full of shoes. I'm basically like Carrie Bradshaw, but like not ever, because this is not whatever she would wear. But I love having a closet full of things. But anyway, so put down in this like chat, like what your rewards would be. I love hearing them, and I love kind of making sure that you hit them, because that creates energy in my body, and that creates so much more fun in this. But yeah, I could talk about rewards all day. Young Living even rewards you with things, which is pretty awesome, and rewards your customers. So that's super fun. So maybe even attaching your reward system to maybe that, like 2 months on loyalty rewards customer, get yourself a cup of coffee, and that person gets a desert mist diffuser, right? Then you can celebrate the wins together. Or the whole entire retreat thing is phenomenal. It's the best thing ever. Or enroll 3 people for the next 3 months and go to convention. That's even better too, because convention is a game changer as well. I mean, I know that's like something random to bring up in this, but you should all have a goal to get yourselves to convention. I'm planning on trying to get myself to convention. I should have a husband back by then, so yay. But it is a game changer to be in person, to feel the energy, to hear the program, to see the essential oils and everything. That's a huge reward that I think you should gift yourself. But anyway.
I couldn't agree more. And I typed in the comments, right? Like, you know yourself best, but like for me personally, it's pampering, like spa day. I'm like, okay, if I hit that rank, or if I enroll this number of people, I'm getting a massage, or I'm getting a facial. It's like some kind of pampering reward. But whatever works for you, I couldn't agree more. And yes, that should be one of your goals, is getting yourself to convention. And actually, this is a really good segue, because, you know, if you haven't seen it yet, we put this up in the Gather and Dwell group. We've got a vision board phone background that you can edit in Canva and add in your own vision, right? Your own vision for what you see for yourself for the year. And notice I've got 2023 convention in there. You can take that one. So I love being able to have a visual reminder of like my vision and the things that I want to accomplish every month in the entire year. Something else is this monthly planner. Again, feel free to download it. It's in the group as well. But, you know, again, writing things down, like Allison said, putting pen to paper helps your brain to connect what you need to get done. And you can write down your goals, your stats for the month, who you're going to follow up with, the classes that you're going to be teaching or hosting, and help too, right? So who are the 2 that you're going to help like learn more about the business, to bring alongside you, right? To host business classes, to teach them how they could be earning that 50% fast start bonus. Something else here is that I would highly recommend is the Kona Challenge. So we actually already have several people who are already on the leaderboard. I'm going to be posting that tomorrow morning. But if you haven't done this yet, you guys, Kona Challenge. It's free, you guys. Like, you just do the things, right? Enroll, get people on loyalty rewards, rank up, or help someone you personally enrolled rank up, and you're going to get points for this Kona Challenge, right? So there are prizes, you know, that are very easy to get. 20 points, and you already get like a prize that's worth, I think, $250 or more. At 30 points, I think it's, you know, $350 or $400. I think at 40 points, you're looking at like $600 worth of prizes. There's Ninja for a year, Thieves for a year. You could win a spot, right, to Kona. And I just want to let you know, people on our team have won not only the trip, right, but tons of prizes in this. Like, anybody can do it. And so this is a fantastic thing for you to do, and to put on sort of your vision board, like, I'm going to win the Kona Challenge, right? I'm going to get one of the prizes. And again, if you haven't joined an accountability pod, I would highly recommend you do it. We're helping to facilitate it, but it really is a great way to get that accountability in there. Okay. Allison, is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, I think this is huge. I love that monthly planner that you just passed by, or what you just posted. I literally was just going through like my notebook and found like a bunch of my old ones, and it was like super fun to see. But I would love, because everything should have an action plan, I feel. So I would love, because right now there is a week of double Kona points, right? There's still a week and some couple more days of January. And I would love you to be face your fear and put it out there in writing. And I would love you to announce it to us all. And guess what? It doesn't matter. Just put it out there. What is your goal for the last week of January? Write it in. I'm waiting. I'm not going to end this call until I see it. Let's do this. Tracy's going to enroll 5 people. I love that. I'm going to enroll 1, but I'm going to get 1 on loyalty rewards. I can't speak right now. And I'm going to talk to 3 of my previous builders to kind of see where they're at. That's super important too. As you're in this business more and more, you're going to notice that people come in and out, and that's perfectly fine. Just know that it's okay to check in, and that's important, even though it's super scary. In this business, and I often have to write a goal for it, is to face my fears on the daily. So remember, it is okay to face your fears. It makes you a better brand partner. It makes you reach those goals, and it makes you go to Kona or get all those free oils, if you will. So put it out there. All right. So make 5 sales off my videos. I love it. 1 new enrollment. Boom, boom. 3 new enrollments on loyalty rewards. Enroll 5 people. Guys, there's some people that didn't write. Remember, I'm not closing the call till you write. I can be here all night. I have kids screaming upstairs, but it's fine. I'm here for you. Enroll 1 person. I love it. Oh yeah, good job. Way to go back to November. And like those, I love that, Jalen. She's saying about going back to Black Friday, following up with those people that ordered then. Also those diffusers, I need to follow up with those people. That just made me remember that too, because I have that written down. Increase my OGV by 500 this month. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing goals. I do want to say one more thing that I forgot. I think a great goal every month is to literally remember to go back to the basics, right? I said that before, but one of the basics is to literally hit star every month. New star would be perfect. So that what that looks like is not like you getting 500 OGV from the people you already enrolled. It is literally getting 500 OVG by new people or your own order, right? So kind of thinking that constantly, because then you always have that 500 OGV. And this is something I'm constantly working at too. But I do like to have that in the back of my head, because that literally increases. And then if you teach that model down and kind of share that, then you obviously are flipping stars, like Tracy was saying. And that's really what the business is. It's all about kind of getting that 500, 500, 500 over and over again. So anyways, I just wanted to pop that in. I had forgotten to mention that earlier. But anyways, this is so fun. It really kind of gets me back to the basics and get me writing my goals down. I'm going to print out that monthly tracker for sure. And it just goes to show you that even at any style of your business, gold, silver, platinum, crown diamond, diamond, it all kind of does the same thing. And it's fun to know that and not get caught up in that as well. So anyways, thanks for doing this with me, Trace.
That was so good. And I feel like such a great reminder of bringing in that 500 new OGV by helping to flip stars. So, so good. And, you know, the other thing that you said, which I think was just so profound, of like, you know, people are in different stages, right? Your builders in particular. And then sometimes people are going in and out, and just sort of recognize that that's very common and just a normal part, because I think sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But it's a very normal part of not just our network marketing business, of every business. You guys, I used to work in the corporate world. It was like this all the time. Retail, I worked in food service. It happens everywhere all the time in every business.
Health are constantly doing that. So it's everywhere.
Healthcare, right? It's always happening in every sector of every business. And here's the thing is, never assume, right? So I love what Allison's saying is she's going to reach out to 3 people, 3 of her business builders, maybe who she, you know, hasn't heard from in a little while, and she's going to reach out to them. This is the thing, is like, never assume, right? Sometimes we think, because we tell these stories in our head, I haven't heard from them, it must mean they're out, right? But that's not always true. It could be they're just in the struggle bus, right? With kids or family or work or other things, right? But they really want to get back in. So never assume. And I think a great way, right? Again, go look at that post that we did. I'll like bubble it up to the top in Gather and Dwell. You could even just say, hey, I wanted to check in to see how you're doing. I'm here for you if you need anything. Also, I just want to make sure you know that Young Living updated their compensation plan. You can earn 50%, like 50% off people you enroll. I will tell you what, that could convert anybody, no matter where they were, to be like, wait, come again? What's happening? 50%? Oh, please tell me more. I want to hear this. So, keeping that line of communication open and never assuming, right? Just, reaching out and doing that follow-up is so, so key. And I love what Allison said, like, leave your ego out the door, right? Just do the reach out. So good. All right. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Allison, always so fun doing it with you.
Yeah, so fun. I'm glad I got power back in time.
Exactly. So we'll have the recording up shortly. Please share with your teams or anybody who wasn't here. And thanks, you guys. See you later.